Okay, guys, listen up. So, guys, the video is running. Okay, so Manu. Okay, the video is running, so we're going to move forward with this. Factoring this. This is a parabola, or if you parabola, it's also a quadratic trinomial. Okay, quadratic trinomial. I need a black.
Parabolas are so cool.
Never mind.
I have parabola.
Okay, guys. So up to this point, what I have done, what you guys have learned how to factor, are x squared plus bx plus c. In other words, a is 1. You know what I'm saying? I never gave you a number in front of the x squared. I never gave you 2x squared, or 4x squared, or negative 3x squared, or negative 1x squared. I only gave you where the a's were 1, meaning x squared plus 3x plus 2, right? The number in front of the x squared is 1, meaning a is 1. Now, when the number is of a, when a is not 1, suddenly things get a little confusing, right? So first I want to deal with negatives. If you've got a negative in front of an x squared, you don't want to try to factor it immediately, you know, with your parentheses, 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 parentheses. You want to get rid of that negative. So to do that, you factor the negative out. So all I'm doing is factoring a negative 1 out, right? And so by doing that, this divided by negative 1 is positive 1, so 1x squared. This divided by negative 1 is positive 4x. This divided by negative 1 is positive 3. Does that make sense? You guys see that? So all I have to do is put a negative 1, parenthesis, and then everything here goes in here with all the signs changed.
Wow.
If it's a negative, then it becomes a positive. If it's a positive, it becomes a negative. All the signs will change in here just by factoring out a negative 1. Somebody had a question.
And all of this is the x is because it's negative?
All what?
And all of this is because the x is negative?
Yes, because
Okay.
I don't want to try,
Just clarify, making
because
sure.
I don't want to try factoring this with a negative in front of the x squared. Does everybody understand this step, right?
So,
All right, so now watch. I've got negative 1, parenthesis, 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 parenthesis. Now I'm just going to, I got to keep that negative 1 there. All right? But it doesn't bother me now. All I have to do is factor this step.
x
So
plus 3, x
factors
plus 1.
of 3 that add to 4. Well, 3 times 1, 3 plus 1 is 4. Oh, so it's going to be x plus 1 and x plus 3. Yes?
Yeah.
Makes sense? Right? You get it? All right, so let's try another one. Can I? Did you all write that down?
Yeah. So basically, it's just
wait.
a regular thing except you with a negative 1.
So that was our first problem. Let's try one more here, and then I'll erase. Okay? All right, so here we go. Whoops, I shouldn't have done that. 1 times 3. Okay. All right, next one. Let's do,
This is easy.
okay, let's try x squared. Okay, let's try
I know.
negative x squared plus 10x minus 16. That does not look very good, right? Negative x squared plus 10x minus 16. Okay, here we go. I don't like that negative in front of the x squared. So I'm going to do negative 1, parenthesis, what?
X minus
Sorry,
10.
sorry. He had his hand up.
X
Sorry.
squared
Squared.
minus 10x plus 6.
Yes, exactly. All the signs are different. Does that make sense? You see that?
Yeah.
And if I multiplied this out again, I would get that. Does that make sense? If I use the distributive property with that negative 1, I would get that again. So now I'm just going to keep that negative 1, parenthesis, 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 and I'm going to try to factor this quadratic trinomial.
8 and 2.
Meaning 16, somebody says 8 and 2. 8 times 2 is 16. 8 plus 2 is positive 10. Ooh. Maddie.
Like negative 6, right?
3 times 6 is 18.
Can't we just change one to be
Yeah, 3 times 6 is 18.
Negative 18.
4
So-
and 4?
So actually Manuk is really close. Look at this. 8 plus 2. 8 times 2 is 16. 8 plus 2 is positive 10.
Oh,
Yeah?
but it's negative.
Yes, so what could you do?
Wait,
What
no,
else
but
equals
it's
16?
Negative.
What else?
Like as in there was a
negative,
negative
negative.
1.
Negative 8
and
and negative 2 also equals 16.
Yeah.
Yes?
Because
Oh yeah,
Right?
your times
that
two
also
negatives
exists.
become.
All right, so then we've got x minus 8 and x minus 2. You with me? Make sense to you guys?
Yep.
All right,
Yeah, non is.
question? Somebody? All right, does it make sense to you guys? Okay, can we move forward? Does it make sense to you, Jeff? Okay. All right. So the only thing you had to do to make this simple was just factor out that negative 1. And then it was pretty simple, right? But you have to keep that negative 1. You all understand that, right? When you write your thing, you got to keep the negative 1 off to the left. Okay? All right. So that's one style of ax squared plus bx plus c. Now I'm going to show you another one. These tend to be a little more tricky at first. And, okay, so we're going to do this one. So I just did 2, right? So this is number 3. Okay, let's say we have 2x squared minus 7x plus 3. Minus 7x plus 3. Now, this is a quadratic trinomial. There's a trinomial. There's 3 terms. Tri means 3, right? Trinomial. And it's quadratic because it says x squared, right? We know that. So we know this is going to be a parabola. But doggone it, the a is not a 1 anymore. It's a 2. So I'm going to try this. I'm going to try my parenthesis, 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 parenthesis. And the question is, what do I put here and here?
What we are going to do
Jackson, try it.
is using,
What would I put here and here? It's got to equal 2x squared. Don't you agree with me? Don't you see that? Because the first times the first is going to
Oh,
be your
so-
first thing.
2x and then x.
All right, do you guys agree with that? Is that what you're going to say, Maddie?
no, I was thinking of the two outside of the parentheses.
Good thought. You can't do that unless you factor out a 2 out of this and factor out a 2 out of this. You know what I mean? You'd have to, if you put the 2 on the outside, you'd have to factor it out of everything. Does that make sense? So because we can't really factor a 2 out of the 7 or out of the 3, then we've got to make sure that this times this equals that. You see that? Does everybody see that? So we've got 2x and then x. Okay, great. Now, what do I know about these two numbers right here? They have to equal, when you multiply them together, they have to equal what? This times this has to equal what?
7. Negative 7.
Not quite. This times this has to equal what?
3.
3, right? Because that's going to be your last term, right?
Right.
Number?
Then you're gonna have to use negative numbers.
So the thing is, we've got to find factors of 3 that add, well, but in this case, we can't use that trick anymore because it's not going to add to this. 3 plus 1 is not going to be negative 7. You see what I'm saying? All right, so I could have 3 and 1, or I could have negative 3 and negative 1. You with me?
Still doesn't equal 7.
And it's still, but we don't know until we try. Okay, and I'll show you what I mean. We could also, though, because notice there's a 2x in this one, and there's an x in this one. So now position matters, order matters. Maybe it's not 3 times 1, maybe it's 1 times 3. So I could do the 1 times 3 here, or I could do the negative 1 times negative 3 here. So those are 4 possibilities to get, and I don't know which one's the right answer. And basically you have to use the guess and check method. I'm guessing these, and I've got to put them in and see which one gives me the right answer. So I'll just try this, 2x plus 3, and then x plus 1. All right? And so I guess I wish I didn't write that right there. So I'm going to write that. Where am I going to write that? Right here. 3. So we had 3 times 1, negative 3 times negative 1, 1 times 3, or negative 1 times negative 3. So it's really, see how important it is to write these out? All these factors here? So that you can see. Now let's try it. Let's multiply this out. What is first? We're going to use FOIL. Remember FOIL?
Yeah.
First, outside, inside, last. Remember that?
Yeah.
So first is 2x squared. Okay, so it's looking good so far. Outside is what? 1 times 2x. 2x. Okay, inside.
Yeah.
3x. Last.
4.
No.
3 times 1?
Oh, no,
3. Okay, now let's combine these. So we've got 2x squared, whoops, 2x squared plus 5x plus 3. Did we get it?
Nope.
No. Okay, so we got to keep going. We tried this one. We know it's not this one. You agree with me?
Yeah.
All right. Now, is there a way we could eliminate any of these?
You can
Looking
eliminate
at
one.
1 and 3.
Can we eliminate this one?
Yes,
Why?
because it's like the same thing as just reverse.
Because it's the same thing as position.
Well, not
Or no,
necessarily.
position man.
2x plus 1 times x plus 3. Let's just try it. Let's see what we get. We still get the 2x squared, right? 2x squared. Then outside, 6x, right?
Yes.
Plus 6x. And then inside, plus 1x. Last, plus 3. Okay, we can combine these two. So we have 2x
We
squared
got it.
plus 7x plus 3. Oh, shoot. It is so close.
So it's -1, -3.
Yes, it's going to be, since we got the right number, it's just the wrong sign. We just need to change these two signs. Right?
That was right.
So it's going to be 2x minus 1 times x minus 3. Right? We know it's not this one. We know it can't be, we know it's got to be this because we're going to get the negative 7x by doing, oops, sorry, that was the answer. So yeah, so there we go. We can even test it and be sure. 2x squared. Outside is negative 6x. Inside is negative 1x. And then plus 3. And that's minus 7x. Yes, good job. We did it. Do you see how we're doing it? You have, order matters. Do you guys all understand that? Because one of them is a 2x and one of them is an x, suddenly it matters because the 2x, when you multiply times outside, that 2x can multiply times another number. And so it starts to get big, right? So you sometimes want the smaller number there so that the 2x doesn't get too big. Does that make sense? Sort of? All right, let's try another one. It's just a guess and check method.
How are these going to tie in with parabolas?
Right there. Right now, we're just practicing this. I'm going to have you practice this guess and check method tonight, for homework. And maybe tomorrow. And then I'm going to teach you another little trick that I call Gary's terrific trick. Okay? It's sweet. I know, it's so cute. Right? But but I want you to understand this first, right? It's really important you understand this. So we did 3. Now we're going to do another one, 4. So that one, by the way, was exercise 1, example 1 in the homework. I mean, in the textbook, okay? So that was example 1. Now I'm going to do example 2. Should I just write it that way? I'll just write it like that. Example 2. In the textbook. And this is, just so you know, that the textbook is lesson 9.6. Okay? So it's example 2. Example 2, example 2. Okay, here we go. We have 3x squared plus 14x minus 5 plus 14x minus 5. All right. Is it a trinomial?
Yes.
1, 2, 3. Is it a quadratic?
Yes.
How do you know?
Because the x squared.
It has the x squared. We know it's a quadratic. What shape would it look like if we graphed it? Parabola. Would it be a happy face or a sad face?
Happy face.
Why would it be a happy face?
Because the x squared is positive.
Right, the number in front of the A, the number in front of the x squared is happy. It's positive, right? So it's going to be a happy face function, right? Okay, now, we know we can try to factor it. That's what we're going to try to do. We don't know if we can factor it. Some of these are not factorable, okay? But we're going to try, okay? So, what would I put here and here? 3x and x. You guys agree with me?
Yeah.
Or agree with her? That's awesome. Okay, what are my possibilities for negative 5? This is tricky because there's a lot of possibilities. I'm going to do it over here. Negative 5. All right, so I could have what? How can I get negative 5? What times what is negative 5?
Negative 5 times negative 1.
How about negative 5 times positive 1?
That was
All right.
what I meant.
How about positive 5 times negative 1?
No.
Okay, how about, what else? How about order matters, right? So now I can put the 1 first.
Negative 1.
I could do negative 1 times positive 5, or I could do 1 times negative 5. You with me?
That's the same thing.
It's the same thing when you multiply them to get negative 5, yes. But it's not the same thing when you put them in here.
Oh.
See what I'm saying? So you have to kind of put them in here, and sort of, we just try. We just try each one and hopefully we'll get it on the first try instead of the fourth try, right? But we don't know. It's- Yes.
Well, okay, so to me, we're still moving ahead with the guess and check method,
Yes.
right?
Not
Yeah.
say something.
But in my mind, so I'm looking at my possibilities, right? So I'm looking at these possibilities of 5 and 1, okay? My mind immediately goes to the middle term, which is the 14x, right? So in my mind, I know the only way I'm gonna get near 14 is to probably multiply 3x times 5, right?
That's 15.
That's gonna give me 15. That gets me near 14.
Minus 1.
Now, if I put the 5 here, will the 3x ever hit the multiply times the 5? If I put the 5 here? No, because it's going to be first, outside, inside, last. If I put it here, the 3x never touches the 5. Does that make sense? You know, if I want the 3x to multiply times the 5, I've got to have the 5 over here. So Joseph is great. He's now, instead of he's moving it one step beyond the guess and check method. He's listing all these out, and then he's realizing, well, wait a minute. I've got to get that middle number close to 14. 3 times 5 is 15, right? So, okay, so we're going to put a 5 here. Now, which one? Do we want it to be positive or negative? Do we want the big 14 to be negative? If so, it would be 3x and times a negative 5. Or do we want it to be positive?
Positive.
Positive. So I'm going to try making that a positive. So I'm going to go over here to look at my possibilities. This one, and it says negative 1 here. You see what I did? You see what we did? Now let's try it. Right? Let's try it. So 3x times x is 3x squared. 3x outside. 3x times 5 is plus 15x. Negative x minus 1x minus 5. Look at that. Oh my gosh, what does that add up to?
14x.
3x squared plus 14x minus 5.
We got it the first try.
We got it on our first try. Because
Joseph was smart.
he was smart. Do you guys see what he did? Do you see how he thought about it?
Yeah.
Now, it's not always that easy. It's not always as straightforward as this one, where you've got a 1 and a 5,
That was my
right?
next question.
It's not always as easy. And so sometimes it might take 2, 3, 4 times. There are some problems where literally if you guess and checked and you didn't really use any logic at all and you just tried them all,
Oh, I'm
you
very
might do it for 16 tries. There might be 16 possibilities. You know, for example, well, let me see if there is one. Do we have time? The fist of 5. Are you guys starting to at least see what's going on here? Okay, awesome, 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 awesome. Okay, so let's try another one. I'm going to do one. Let's see. That was example 2. Let's see what is example 3. Example 3. All right, sure, why not? Okay, let's do example 3. Okay, so let's say we got negative 4x squared plus 12x plus 7. Ooh. Ah, what's the problem? Immediately you see, Jax, what is it? What's the problem? You immediately see it. It's really, I can tell it's really bothering him. Ah,
Checks, Mr. Matt. Negative.
yes! Oh, exactly! Exactly! I had the same reaction, Jax. I had the same reaction as you. That negative is a problem, right? I do not like that negative. So I'm going to factor it out, right? I'm going to factor out a negative 1. And I've got 4x squared. What do I have? Shh, shh, guys? So sorry, make sure you're writing them all down, right?
I am.
Okay. 4x squared, and now this sign changes, right? Minus 12x minus 7. Okay. So now I've got to keep that there. The negative 1, parenthesis, 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 parenthesis. I've got to figure out what are my possibilities to get negative 7. Negative 7. Fortunately, all of these are prime numbers so far that we've been dealing with, so it means we don't have a ton of options. We have a 1 times a negative 7, or a negative 1 times a positive 7, or what else? What else? Throw it
7
out.
times negative 1 and negative 7 times 1.
Yeah, 7 times negative 1 and negative 7 times 1. Those are our 4 possibilities. All right, so now, what do we have to put here?
4x.
4x and x, right?
Yes.
Now, can somebody, okay, we got to get to negative 12.
Okay, so 7 goes in that one and negative 1 goes in that one.
So 4 times 7, to me, sounds like it's going to be 28. That's going to be pretty high. You
that's
follow
why I
me?
said it.
I'm thinking I don't want to put a 7 here. You with me?
I want,
Because then I would get 4 times 7, that's 28. I don't know what I'd have here, but I don't know. I don't think I'm going to get rid of, a lot to get to 12.
But 1
So
times 4 is
what if I put a
4.
7 here? So where are my possibilities? I've got a 7 and, okay, now, and I've got a 1 here, right? I've got to have a 7 and a 1. One of them's got to be negative. Which one would I be negative?
7.
All
1.
right, let's try it. We'll do negative 7 and plus 1. All right? This is where you kind of have to just try it, right? When you get to this point. And let's just see what we get. We're going to have negative 1. That's negative 1 parenthesis. And then here we go, 4x squared. And then we've got outside is positive 4x plus 4x. Inside is negative 7x. Right? Negative 7x. And then minus 7. Did it work?
No.
No, that didn't work. Okay.
Then
Because
the-
that'll be negative 3x.
Then the 1 has to be negative.
All right.
Are you confused?
Well, I just don't think, because the way it's set up now, 4 and 7 are always going to be combined, and there's no way to get
All right. So let's try. Let's just try this.
You might have to go for 28.
Okay. Let's try putting the let's try doing plus 7
That's why
here
I said it. Because
and
I
x minus 1. Let's just see. Right. All I did is I just changed the sign. Let's just see what we get. We get negative 1 parenthesis. And then we got 4x squared. Outside is negative 4x. Inside is 7x. Is it working?
No.
No.
Minus 7.
Gary, do the thing that Manuk said in the beginning.
What did he say?
The
Put the
28.
7 in the x place.
Put
What?
the 7 here?
What? Yes.
No, replace the 1 in the 7.
Well, it's got to equal, though, 4x squared.
Yes.
And it will.
This time
No,
this.
no,
Why? But wait.
he means putting the 7 there and the 1 there.
Yeah,
Oh, that's what you're saying?
that's what I was.
Oh, okay.
That's what I said at the beginning.
Okay.
And you didn't listen to me.
All right. All right, so let's try it. Let's try putting a 7 here. Why did I just do this? We had a 1 here and a 7 here.
Yes.
So I'm just going to keep that. So we'll try another one. Negative 1, 4x. What did you say? Minus 1?
Yes.
and then x plus 7.
Yeah,
Okay, let's try it.
that's right.
So that's going to give us -1 parentheses. And then we got 4x squared. And then outside is 28, right?
Yeah.
28x. Inside is -1x. Right?
Wait, no.
Minus 7.
It has to be -7.
So we're still not close. All right, so now there is an issue here that we didn't look at. Look at where we first started. We have this problem, right? We factored out the 1. You with me? Here, now look at the first step we did. We said 4x times x, as if that was the only possibility to get 4x squared. Is there another way to get 4x squared?
2x times 2x.
2x times 2x?
Yeah.
Would that also be?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, so suddenly we also have possibilities, more than one possibility for the first term.
Oh, snap.
Isn't that awesome?
Snap.
Don't you love
Gary,
these?
Gary, look.
Aren't these
And
great?
then it turns into
You're gonna love
14,
Gary's trick.
And then the -1 turns
Alright.
into 2.
So we just ruled out this possibility using the 4x and the x. You guys agree with me? There's really no way it's gonna work. So we gotta try another strategy.
Gary, I know what's up. Okay, do it. Negative that.
We got 2x,
And then
and
2x.
then 2x.
And then it doesn't really matter the order. It just
Oh yeah,
puts-
because they're both the same, right?
Yeah, so
It
just
really
put-
doesn't matter.
Just put -7.
-7.
Wait, no. Put -1. Wait, no, put -7. And then put 1.
Plus 1.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Are
Okay.
you sure?
Let's just do it.
No,
And
and
then
these
it'll
are
work.
comfy, that's a 2016.
Guys, let's try it. -1, parentheses, we got 4x squared. What 2x plus, 1 times 2x is 2x. 2x times -7 is -14x. And then what do we have? -7. All right, what does that add up to, guys? So that's 4x squared. What's that?
-12.
-12x?
We did it.
We did it. Okay, -7. We did it. So that was the answer. So that was the factored form.
Okay, because Manuka's
With me?
valid.
So the key is look at both the A's and the C's in terms of what are your possibilities, okay? So homework tonight.
Gary, it's our first day back.
Come on, Gary, don't be us out.
Homework tonight. Homework tonight.
No.
Okay, let's, let me just erase this. Let me stop this thing.